Good morning, good afternoon from any part of the world. This is Tony HB, and welcome to a new edition of My Lives with Asperger, part number 6. Wow, we have already done a couple of videos in this series. This is going to be like my video to last. I have like at least 2 more parts, including this one. And I'll be done talking about what my life has been from since I've been here all the way to this point. So I just wanted to thank you for you guys and gals being here today, and let's get going. The first thing I want to talk about, I left it off at 2014. I just got my associate's degree and went back to school. That year I began to volunteer more with nonprofit organizations, with an autism organization in Orlando, and because I just didn't want to talk about the condition, but also I wanted to be able to make a difference out there and be able to contribute. That was the first year that I really did start my profile of volunteer resume. So that was a very important year, and I have challenges, of course, of social skills, building relationships, but I started to have that mindset of making a difference out there, living my last day like it was the last, and making a difference out there in the community without expecting anything in return. So I'm very grateful for that. And I went back, got my bachelor's degree, and I went back to work. I worked with retail, continuing retail, but it was in this second job, third job that I had, that I learned more about sales, retail sales. I worked in customer service before. I worked as customer service and hospitality, but it was more about sales. And not only had to do the cashier duties, but also I had to do sales at the same time. And I didn't know much about sales. I knew that you needed it to be a business person, but I didn't never be in a job that requires sales. So I struggled because of my lack of problems with social skills and challenges that I was able to struggle. I struggled very much with that job, selling the memberships, the credit cards, be able to talk with people a lot. But at the same time, this helped me to be able to gain social skills as much as I could. And I don't know how I did it to this day, but I was able to do as much as I could in that job, and I was even promoted because of sales. So even though this job, the customer service sales job, is not typical, it's not supposed to be, it's not for people with my condition. I was able to do it because I had no choice. I had income coming in, so that's one of my challenges that I struggle with in those types of jobs. So, and I was able to work with other people, more about sales, social skills, and other things that, with that mindset of even though I didn't know the business I wanted to do, I wanted to gain more experience towards going to that goal. But back then, during 2014, I was in my conspiracy mindset, distrusting everything, but I began to wane. In other words, in that year, I began to, get myself out of that conspiracy world into once again depression mode. So, I went to bed, went to school in August. This was the first time that I was working and going to school at the same time, working part-time and going to school full-time. And it was very smooth, as, challenges that I was facing with, struggles with building relationships, even though I was talking with people, but I was not able to build long-lasting relationships. So that's the reason why I was struggling with, and it still hurts me to still having an impact into this very day. So, long story short, I was challenging, struggling in 2014, 2015. 2015 was a very important year. It was at 2015 in the spring that I did my first ever. This is I'm going to talk about so far the greatest week of my life. This week in April of 2015, I went to California by myself. People say, "Oh, how can you go by yourself?" People say, I went to myself to California for one reason only: Star Wars Convention Celebration 2015. I went to the one in 2012. I was not happy. What happened when I went there? I let it go. So I wanted to make it up for in this year in the 2015 celebration. Not only went to Star Wars Convention, when I was in a week in Orange County, I went to Disneyland. I went to Huntington Beach, Newport Beach. I went to um, Griffith Observatory Tower in Los Angeles. Went to Hollywood. Went to Los Angeles. I went to so many places. It was the first time I was doing this trip by myself, and I was going to so many places. And even though I was technically by myself, I really rested. I was able to meet people, talk to people on my way there, and then I went to the Lakers game. My team lost, but being there in the Staples Center was an amazing experience. And then the rest of the week I was in Star Wars Convention. And the first day I went like a sleepover event. I'm waiting in line the night before the first day of the convention to wait for the first panel to talk about the new movie back then. Force Awakens, the new actors, the classic actors from the original trilogy, and being there in live in person. I can say that I was able to achieve one of my dreams, which was to go to a Star Wars convention. Even though what's happened in the past, good and bad, the struggles that I had with, but that was one of those key few, very rare moments in which I achieved my dream of going to the Star Wars convention and being live in person with the actors that I look up to since I was a kid. So that was a great experience. Was able to meet people, take pictures, autographs, photos with my actors, actresses, including Carrie Fisher, who sadly passed away recently. But I still have that picture with her. And people say, "Why would you spend money on that?" I mean, there's a difference between buying stuff like TVs, new houses, and all that kind of stuff, and buying and making investment in experiences, because experiences may not come back. And that's when I came up. That was a great experience. And I prefer to spend more money on experiences than things. So that's just me. I respect others' beliefs and opinions, but that's what I wanted to do. Overall, I have a great blast that week in California, in Anaheim. I went to Colorado too, to my stops going there. So it was a very great experience, and that's for me is the greatest week of my life. Another time, as I'm doing this video, we have the 2017 Star Wars celebration this coming week in Orlando, which I live in the area. So I'm kind of getting myself prepared for that. So later on in my video, I'm going to talk about my Star Wars experience, what happened at the convention, and all that kind of stuff. But as for now, that's what happened in 2015. I had that greatest week of my life. Um, then I came back, I started working, and I got a new job in the banking industry. Well, this was my first time full-time job that I'd ever had. So I wanted to go to, back then I wanted to go to the financial industry. I got the job that I wanted to be, full-time job, a little bit more better pay. And I was thinking, I want to do this job. I don't want my disability to let me down. And it was the worst experience of my life, that job. Even though I struggled with a lot of things, but I was trying to do the very best I can be. And there was a lot of things going on that I blame others, not me back then, but I also blame myself for taking this job. And I was let go because of discrimination. I talked to them about my disability, that was let go. And I was let go. So I struggled, but at the same time, the way that was handled, they handled it wrong, but at the same time, I was struggling with, so I would have perhaps leave the position, but they just let me go like that. So, that was an alert for me saying that this is not a job for me. That I don't know why it happened. I always show up on time, be able to do the very best I am capable of doing. Why this happened? So I was just like, I was depression. I was very depressed when that happened, that job. So, and it went downhill. And that was in mid 2015, and I went through a rough patch, beginning with that job, then being fired that job. I still went to school. I was unemployed. I was trying to struggle to get a job. Late 2015, we received a notice in which we needed to move out from where we were living. We were renting a house. We needed to move in a couple of months. I was having struggle finding a place for us, my family, my brother, and it was that was the roughest patch of one of the roughest patches of my life. Um, my cars were, my car was broke down. I don't know how I was going to get money to do all the things that we needed to do. I needed to borrow money. It was in 2014 that I started borrowing money for my education. I started borrowing more money to be able for an emergency, and I don't know how I was going to survive. And it got to a point I got a new job. I had to quit because we applied to an apartment, and because of the new job, our application got declined. So I had to leave that job in like less than 2 or 3 days. So that rough patch from November to 2015 all the way to March of 2016 was one of the worst periods of my life. And I was praying and trying to I was blaming myself and for being a big liability and screwing up things for my family. Back then, blaming my disability, blaming everybody, most importantly, blaming myself. So it was a very, very worst patch of my life, rough patch of my life. And I was so down because the conspiracy world that I was living in, being in conspiracies and all that kind of stuff, led me to with nothing. I felt wasted of time and everything. And going to last year, that finding solutions in politics, finding solution in other hobbies, finding what is it that I came here to do. That question, that the purpose question that I've always talked about, was evident in all the things that I've done in my life. I've been trying to find what I came here to do. I was not very conscious of it until recently, but I've always been, not that conscious in terms of what I came here to do. And all the things that have happened since I've been here, all the way to talk about 2016, led to this point. So thankfully we were able to move to the new place. I was able to struggle, challenges as always, and it came to the point that I was still going to school full time, so that was good. My focus being in 2016 was to finish my bachelor's degree, but I didn't know what I was going to do. I really didn't know what I was going to do. So it wasn't until the summer of last year that I got a point in my life that I said, you know what, it's time for a restart. And when I mean for a restart, I'll talk about it in the next video. So, this is what I had so far from 2014 to 2016. If you have, if any of you have any questions, I would like to leave a comment right down below. If anything that you guys didn't, boys and girls, you guys didn't understood, just let me know. I will clear it up. So we, in the next video, I'm gonna talk about when the restart, last summer, all the way to today. So again, thank you very much for watching my video today, and feel free to share it. And if you have any questions, just just let me know. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, this is Tony HP signing off. Thank you.